Hello, welcome. Let's talk about poses. And so we're talking about poses, how to create better poses that read. And so for this example, today I'm going to be using this character. This character is it's based on a short I'm working on. I don't want to reveal much about it, but it's still in the works. So we are going to be using this character for the example we are going to be doing today. So for poses, to create better poses, what you need to understand is this same old idea we always talk about: form follows function. Form follows function. It's not just to create pose, an idea has to be, what's the function of that pose? What's the character trying to do? I have some examples for you here. This a sketch by Sargent. So this, let's say, is painting approach. So what's the idea or story you are trying to tell with the pose? This I think is one of his study of Madame X, and you see how he puts her, lays the figure down the chair, and then he's not concerned about the details. He's more concerned about the story he's trying to tell. So form is the pose. The form is the figure. The form is, as I said, the figure. What you are trying to paint. So it follows function. It's not, don't just come out, from mid-air. You are trying to tell a story, so those forms need to direct the eyes of the audience, the viewer, to those areas you want that you want to tell your story through. So keep that in mind. So the same thing for animation or for character design. This and I want to make you understand something here. This is a rough sketch by Glenn King, and you can see how rough. I watched a presentation he did. I've forgotten, I think in City, and where he was talking about movement, the pose. But see how rough this take is. We cannot draw clean drawing. You can see the drawing on the side I drew here, how neat it is. So in creating a pose, we can't focus on this first. Yeah, we can't focus on the form. We focus on the function first. So this was the stage. It's trying to map out the action. It's an iconic scene, and this is the cleanup. So the function, the story, she's swimming upwards, and see the energy in the sketch. See the energy he's using. He used placeholders to get the eyes. We can see the eyes here. Let me use red so you can see what I'm doing. And see the eyes here, in the nose, the mouth, and now he's feeling, that form, the fin, the hair. Also, he's feeling the form. That is the function. So you need to keep that in mind when you are working on your art and in your painting. Also, the same thing applies in painting. Don't think that it only applies in drawing or in animation or character design. The same thing applies in painting. So now let me quickly do a quick demo so you understand what we're saying. So there's one of the shots where she falls into this water, this state you are seeing here, And let me just quickly map out something here. I don't have any reference with me. I'm doing this all from my head so you understand. So let's say she's falling down into this ocean, and I'm looking at the body, and I'm feeling maybe she falls down, so she's pulled down. So maybe I'll change the pose, the leg rather, to this point. Let me erase this using lasso tool eraser, and we'll feel her hair, pushing this way. Her hands, I'm going to stretch this even more rather than make it bent, because I know about the muscles. Form follows function. So the water too is affecting the friction. So now we can do this just to get form, the perspective of the head. Her ears are here, her eyes will be closed definitely, her nose will be here, her mouth closed. And this is the same way I drew this, you see here. The same way I'm thinking, what's the character doing? So let's push this to show her chest. Look at the cloth. Here we have this form. So from this, I'm going to stretch the fingers so it will be like she's pushing up. I have the legs here, but if you look at the character, the gown covers her feet and all. So now I'm going to reduce the opacity. So now you see, we know the function. She is falling. I'm going to add little bubbles, even bubbles close to her, that makes close to her head and make the fall authentic. Feel that. And now I'm going to clean up the pose. Coming in now. Feel her eyes. I'm looking at my character design. Let me reduce this even more so you can see clearly. And then her ears. Feel this. It's a quick sketch, but you understand the idea. Then I might fill this in. Feel the hands. I know at this point, so I can still go back here to fully add and this gesture drawing, so keep that in mind. This is also fully gesture drawing. So I'm adding her fingers now. You can see me add her fingers, her hands, and then the gown. And I'm also adjusting as I'm drawing. I'm making adjustment to different areas. Feel that push downward. Remember I said she's pushing downward, so the dress won't be that way. It will be pushed in this point, but the dress is still it's really big, so it flows, so it will be covered by her hands, flows upward. Feel that form. So I'm still pushing this to show that her legs is holding that part. So you see how it feels there. Then the hands, you see I adjusted the hands because I noticed the hands I did when I was measuring, when I did the first gesture pass, was too long. And then see, I'm using my hands also to try to feel that pose. Her fingers. And then we can finish up her hair. Some bubbles being added. Other ears. And this is exactly the way it's done. Form follows function. So before you make your art, think about, I think this ought to be pushed out since it's no longer, it's coming down, so most of the dress will push in the other way. This also. So it's very easy. The character is not strongly on model. On model, yeah. So, but you understand, I'm going to use white to try to capture some bubbles. Like I said, on the hair, on her hands also. And then her brows. And this is exactly the way you get the job done. So I hope you've learned something. You can see how strong the pose is. So before you make a pose, if it's painting, think about the story you are trying to tell, where the focus will be. You know, that's how Sargent did it, that's how J.C. Leyendecker did it, that's how most painters did it. Start with the sketch. You know, plan out your composition. So know, and when we talk about function, structure to come into play. You know, the skeleton, know your anatomy. These things you see me doing, how I know where the deltoid is, how strong it ought to be, how strong, you know, different forms ought to, the place they ought to be, and how they ought to react. It's through learning the functions, you know, the structure, and still knowing how to tell the story. So I hope you learned something from this one. If you have any question, you can drop it in the comment box. I will reach out to you. And if you want to see other things, if you have question on other topics, you can drop it too. I'll make videos on it. If you like what you're seeing, click the subscribe button. And thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.